What's going on, guys? This is me, Isaiah, from Zero Footage. Uh, we finally got a good one. We deadass finally have something really good in the DC Extended Universe. And it's this movie. I would be lying if I said that the entire movie itself was great. Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm gonna get into spoilers in this video towards the second half. Really, it'll be like the majority of it, just so you know I'm not like messing with anyone. There's really not a ton of spoilers, but I just want to go ahead and be sure that people that want to see it don't have anything ruined for them. There's not a ton, but yeah. As far as my overall impressions of it, it was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was good. Really, in a general sense, the movie follows a sort of like okay, let me just tell you what the entire plot is. Not the entire plot, but just the basic gist of it. Anyone who knows Wonder Woman's origins is going to know this story. She was born out of clay from her mother. I forget her name, but she was born from clay. She was molded into clay, into a baby, of course, and then Zeus is the one who gave her actual life. She spends her entire life on the island of Themyscira, which is hidden off from all men, and apparently any women that haven't seen it either. And she lives with the Amazonians, which are a bunch of other women who are trained to be fighters and live off the land, essentially. Which, I was really surprised that they cast Robin Wright in the role that they cast her in. I actually kind of liked her as sort of this, I don't know if she was a captain or a general or whatever, but I thought she was pretty badass. So we just see her kind of grow up and train with that character, and, she tends to go against her mother's wishes when it comes to that, but eventually her mother kind of caves in, lets her start training, which, is kind of... I won't say it's a grave mistake. I mean, she ends up being really good, but there's something about Diana that is a little bit different. Those lights just went out. I'm probably gonna have to fix one of the bulbs, but anyway, oh, there they go. Anyway, so screw all that. She ends up training anyways, and then Steve Trevor, yeah, that's his name, played by Chris Pine, ends up crashing down in his plane. He's an actual World War I pilot, I guess he ends up crashing down on their island as he's running away from a whole bunch of Nazis, and of course Diana ends up going to rescue him, brings him ashore, and he ends up saying that, they're still a part of the world that they are, what am I trying to say? Really, he is a soldier. It's the first man that Diana's ever seen before, and she wants to follow him to wherever he's going, because he starts speaking about World War I and how shitty it is, pretty much. And from then on, she's been told her life about this, she gets told, sort of a bedtime story about how Ares had slaughtered all the other gods in Olympus, and Zeus was the one that struck him down and sent him to Earth and sort of corrupted men. And if you don't know, Ares is the god of war. I only know that just from basic Greek knowledge, but in the DC universe, he is his own character. And so she basically just goes on the mission with him to sort of win the war in a way. She's really just going after Ares. He's wanting to just do his mission, whatever exactly it may be. I believe it was just trying to stop who we perceive to be the villain in the movie, Dr. Poison. See, that's such a fucking stupid name, I won't lie. But you basically get the gist. It's just an adventure from then on. And what I described to you really, at the end of the day, won't do the movie justice unless you're watching it. Quite a bit of it, at least the beginning, is is kind of exposition heavy, but then it starts when she leaves the island, things start to take off from there. I would actually argue there's one like the opening scene is really like the opening fight scene is pretty damn good, but I think things take off whenever she leaves there and she's on her own. She sort of realizes who she is after a moment where she's training with Robin Wright's character, and she does the braces thing, you know, the Wonder Woman iconic pose. And whenever she does that, it sort of makes a blast. And she never has time to question that because immediately after that, Steve Trevor ends up landing. And I felt like that was sort of a misstep, but at the same time, like, you know, they had to go ahead and hurry this up. It could have been handled a little bit better. It was basically just meant to keep, again, a spoiler secret sort of kept from her the entire time. And yeah, that's one little issue I have with the movie. I feel like there's sometimes I'm just like, well, why couldn't they do this? Why couldn't they do that? But as long as you have such good characters, you can sort of get past those nitpicks. And I seriously do think Gal Gadot does a great job as playing Wonder Woman. There was times I was just looking at her and I didn't see Gal Gadot. I saw Wonder Woman. And, you know, I have a very basic knowledge of who Wonder Woman is as a character. You know, I've seen all the episodes of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, so I have a good understanding of her. I haven't read any comic specific to her. Again, seen her in Batman vs Superman. I saw her in her own anime movie very recently. Like before seeing this, I really loved that movie, and that's something I think this movie does have over it. There is one thing that this movie has over it that the anime movie didn't have, and Steve Trevor is an idiot. Again, you know, Chris Pine, he does a pretty good job too as being just sort of likable. I didn't really get that from the animated version because they just sort of made him a doofus. He was like, oh, you know, a whole bunch of women, oh god. You know, not exactly like that, but he's done a lot better in this movie. He's made to be more of a likable, you know, a more realistic kind of person that you could see her falling in love with. And I don't think I'm giving anything away. They end up falling in love. But you know, as long as you have really good characters, really good action, we can follow this sort of, you know, really basic hero's quest type of story. You know, everyone knows the hero's quest. You have your hero, you have your villain. There's something they have to obtain. They work towards their goal. They finish the goal. And that's sort of what you get here. And we just haven't had that done for any of the DC characters. So when they finally get it right and try to do it with this character and sort of, you know, in a sense, I would say she's sort of the Captain America of this universe. Mainly because, like, you know, she's a superhuman that carries around a shield, works through one of the world wars, and doesn't age by the time that she gets to the present time. She's the female DC Captain America, let's be real. That wasn't evident the entire time I was watching that movie, but like I always say that. That's just who she is. But you know, it's really good that we have little girls that will be able to look up to not only like characters like Rey from Star Wars or you know, just any other female character you can think of where they're in the lead, they're at the forefront. But now they definitely have the one that kind of set that precedent, Wonder Woman of all characters that really, I don't know if this movie really is worth the 75-year wait for how many versions of Superman we've gotten and Batman and other characters, you know. It's long overdue for Wonder Woman to get her movie. I don't think exactly this is the movie everyone wanted after that much build-up and that much waiting. But it's a damn good movie. And honestly, I say it's worth seeing in theaters. Don't see it in 3D, though. That 3D, a lot of the times, like, you know, I said the action scenes were good, and when you see them in 3D, they are good. But there's no reason to see this in, not even in IMAX, I would argue, because a lot of it is just, like, you know, moments where they're just sort of discussing diplomatic strategy, not diplomatic, but I mean, like, strategies. For how they're going to go about winning the war and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of characters talking until about the third act where it gets more action heavy. So I wouldn't go to IMAX or 3D. Just see it. I would pay full price. I wouldn't see it as a matinee. I would definitely try to see it this weekend if you can. But yeah, it's well worth the money, honestly. As someone who saw Batman vs Superman opening day and got burnt as hell, this is a movie that's worth seeing. She definitely has more of a character than she even did in that movie. It really is a good movie. Overall, it is probably an 8 out of 10 for me. One of the better superhero movies I've seen so far this year, and I mean, we aren't that far in. Like, all the superhero movies I've seen so far have been pretty good this year. Fingers crossed for Spider-Man, but we're gonna see. So anyway, that pretty much wraps up my basic thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and get into spoilers right now. Yeah, it's not a big spoiler, and honestly, that's one of the gripes I have with the movie. Is just the villains. They don't focus on one villain. Like I said, there's Dr. Poison, who really at the end of the day turns out to be a nothing character, honestly, because like in the third act she just gets lost and she's not really a big part of what they're doing. I think most people have seen her in the trailer. She's the one with the sort of prosthetic jaw that she has going right there. And in the third act, you see it get taken off, and I'm like, oh, wait, that's it? Like, they make it seem worse than what it is. It's just like she has a wound, and I don't know if they explain exactly what caused it or what happened to her. I'm trying to recall, but I really can't at the moment. I would have to see the movie again and kind of pay attention more to that part. But yeah, she's not the main villain. Don't be fooled. They try to play it up like one of the Ottoman Empire generals is Ares, like in disguise or whatever. Wonder Woman ends up killing him. He's not. It's some British dude from the beginning. Which I don't know if I'm right on when I say this, but he honest to God looks like the bad guy from Howard the Duck. Like, I think it's just the mustache. It definitely isn't the accent, because I think that guy was American. He just looks like him to me, and if it is, that is so fucking funny. Because I will never take him seriously after like that voice he did in that movie, and then him being in this. But yeah, he ends up being Ares. And at first, I was worried that they were just going to make him a human, and he wasn't going to take his, the form a lot of people are familiar with that character, with his armor and everything, and the horns, and the red eyes. He ends up transforming into that, and it looks cool, don't get me wrong, but I just hate that it had to be him. And the Ottoman Empire guy, he just started spouting off like, you don't know what I'm capable of, and just all that basic villain bullshit. And he turned out not to be the villain. So, for all three villains, there's just poor development. Like, you know, there's development with the Ottoman Empire guy and Dr. Poison, like a little bit, but then there's no payoff because one ends up, you know, just kind of getting lost in the third act, and the other one dies in the third act. And then you find out Ares is the British guy who you thought was on their side. Like, oh. So, I mean, like, the movie does fall a little bit victim to some tropes, but that's really my only complaint is just the villains. The other characters are fine. I forgot to mention in the non-spoiler part that I really do like the squad that they end up with the Native American guy and the Scottish dude. What else? And then there was the one guy who wanted to be an actor and everything, and he had his, like, they're not like really defined characters, but they have enough little quirks here and there that you're like, okay, well, I can buy into this squad a little bit. And you know, they're not the main focus. It's obviously Diana and Steve Trevor. Those are your main focus. You know that going in, but they're still a nice addition, I think. So I don't know. Just for basic thoughts off the top of my head, that's pretty much gonna do it. I would, again, definitely go ahead and see this in theaters. Don't pay for any extra shit. Just go see it. If you have to, go see it matinee. If you just missed the weekend, just go ahead and go see it then, I would say. But yeah, I think this one is well worth the money, and I'm so glad DC fucking got it right. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you want to see me do more of these sort of just open discussion type of things where I just ramble for a little bit, let me know. I'm going to post this right after I get done recording, so I could probably go ahead and see what's coming up next week. I think it's The Mummy. I've never seen any of the Mummy movies, but this one's supposed to set up the Universal Monster movie cinematic universe. Oh, that's so fun. I'll have my gripes about that in another video, but I'll go ahead and just cut this one off so I can go ahead and upload it. But thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.